Hey, and welcome to the Toadstead. Okay, well, I guess you could say it's another big day here. What you see on the ground are 21-foot long pieces of galvalume that, as you can see, I've already started putting up as the walls of the Toadshop. And it's pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, we can walk around here. We're right next to the chicken coop. Say hi. I'm sure they'll start barking at me pretty soon, especially that dude right there. But pretty straightforward. Just got it screwed on. I'll show you the screws. And this company I'm working with, they are, of course, a dealer. This is Eagle that did the carport. You've already seen the video. Well, the carport, that's what I call it. It really looks just like a carport on steroids. Just a little bit thicker metal than some, I guess, you know. Nothing really great. It's just gonna work. But they also sell all of the beams and the parts and the pieces. And what you see down here, I've just made a cut over here on the back. We've laid in, I don't know, not a header, footer, I guess the footer beam. And how we make the little brackets down here, take you over, and we'll show you it's just a piece of, it's not really channel iron or angle iron, but it is. It's a little thinner than your average angle iron. You know, and then we use our Sawzall, or you can use a chop saw, you can use whatever you want, to simply cut it in sections like that. And that's what I'm using here, is my little Honda generator. I actually bought that after Katrina. I've had that a long time. I guess going on 10 years, 11 years. Bought that after Katrina for working in the cleanup and rebuilding, and just using my equally old and beat up Milwaukee Sawzall. And to get these bevels right, these angles, because as you can see, this metal, these are the uprights, the studs, if you will. Of course, we have an angled roof. So I actually had somebody give me a hard time about, hey, you never show you actually doing anything. Well, there's a few reasons for that. Mostly is I just don't want to take the time. It's a real pain to set up a bunch of stuff, tripods and all that. That's part of it. The other part of it is I've only got two hands, so I'm doing what I'm doing. And the third part is, quite honestly, sometimes I just forget to do it because I'm in the process of doing something. Anyway, let me show you this. This is just a bevel. Okay, you could unscrew this little part right here, and then this is movable. Let me just loosen it. See, here's where we're talking about the one hand thing. Let me loosen it up a little bit. All right, so you can see how this moves. And all I did was over here on this corner, which is the same as the one back there, put this tool up in the corner, get it up there like that, and then tighten that screw. And what that does is that brings the angle down. And of course I would have tightened it up quite a bit, but I've only got one hand. And that brings it over here, and as you can see, it matched up. I just set it on there, make a pencil mark right here, and cut to the pencil mark. And now that I've got two of them, all I have to do is chop that little bit off the end, and I'll have two exactly the same length to go in this back wall, and then there'll be one in the center, and that'll take care of that. And then I'll be able to go ahead and put the rear piece of metal on. As you can see, I'm alone today, so I'm just not going to be able to lift these metal, the next layers. There's going to be 3. You can tell, 1, 2, 3, to fill that all up. And you need more than one person. But today is just one of those days where everybody else is busy. Even Miles, he's sleeping under the trailer. Not a bit of help. But let me show you, I did make a mistake, and I'll show you how I corrected it. You know how you kind of get go fever? You just want to get her done. And I put this piece of metal on, ran it out to the center, then put the second piece of metal on, ran it out to the center, and said, heck, that'll be fine. And what I ended up with was this overlap way out here. See how far it is away? And then, of course, the corresponding overlap on this end. And I just didn't like it. So, on the other side, now keep in mind, I've never done this before. You know, as is many things here on the Toadstead, just do them. You know, we're just doing it. And we learn, make mistakes, fix the mistakes, off we go. This time, I started over there at the end, justified it to that end beam, brought it to the center, and I went ahead and screwed on, I think these 3 top screws, if I remember correctly, to make sure it was level. I used a torpedo level to make sure everything was level, and then used my Sawzall to cut this off. And then put these in. I'm probably going to put screws up on top here. I don't know, haven't decided yet. Maybe overthinking it. Anyway, as you can see, the cutoff piece is right there. And then I've got just about an equal amount hanging off here that I'll also cut with the Sawzall. Now, is that crucial? You know, I really don't know, but I think it's a better hold to do it this way. And if for no other reason, these leftover pieces, I think these are going to be very usable in smaller projects. I've got some other things coming up, like a small, like a grow out chicken area, perhaps even a place to put biddies or chicks, you know, newborn chicks. And I'm thinking about building a feeder for the pig pen that might be nice to have a cover. There's just some other ideas floating around that I'm going to be able to use that for. So, whoo, this is where we are. And I'll probably finish out at least this bottom bit here. I also have not decided on the door. What I really want is a 16-foot wide, 8-foot tall, kind of residential garage door style thing there, but I'm still thinking about it. Haven't decided yet. And when I do, then I'll have to obviously do the rough framing for the opening. But that'll be, you know, another step. And the same thing with the man door. I can always cut the metal when the time comes. One of the nice things about the metal is I can cut it and rework it and everything. So right now, we're just going. And I'll bring you back when I get this part done.